Long ago, when the world still cloaked itself in wonder like a shawl against the cold, there was the village cradled between 7 gentle hills and a river that hummed lullabies to the stones. The village was called Nonti, and by daylight it shimmered, green fields danced in the breeze, laughter skipped across courtyards, and hearth fires stitched warmth into the air. But when night fell, Nonti became a hollow shell. Above it stretched a sky stripped bare, no stars, no moon, just a heavy ink of silence pressing down. Fathers spoke in hushed tunes, wondering if their village had somehow drifted off the map of the world. Mothers held their children close, whispering prayers to an unanswering sky, and the children, well, they believed the night was simply where stories ended. But stories, you see, never truly end. And in that moonless village lived a man called Pakaki, who was said to be older than time itself, or so the children whispered. He was 290 years old, give or take a season. His skin folded like ancient bark, and his eyes gleamed with the mischief of 100 forgotten tales. His teeth had long since gone to rest, but his laughter never had, and he leaned on a gnarled walking stick which he claimed had once been carved by the wind itself. Why wasn't he dead? Some would whisper. He's just been forgotten by death, others said. But the truth was, Pakaki was waiting for the right night, the night of the prophecy. It was said that when the sky had stayed dark for 20 generations, the oldest amongst the people would finally tell the tale that explained everything. That night came quietly, with no fanfare, just a restless air and a sky blacker than ever. So they gathered. The whole village, from the newest babe to the most weathered elder, circled round Pakaki under that hollow sky. The firelight danced in their wide eyes, and the silence was so full of yearning that it almost wept. And Pakaki began to speak. His voice was slow, gravely, but it carried the kind of weight that bends mountains and hushes sounds. There was once, he said, a princess named Tifu. She was no ordinary girl. She played the flute with such beauty that the birds forgot to flap their wings mid-flight. Her notes could make weavers sigh and fireflies dance like they had found love. But what she loved most of all was playing under the moon. A few heads turned skywards just in case. Every night, Kaki continued, Tifu would sit on a hill outside the village and play. And the moon, the moon would shine brighter just to hear her. Some say it lowered itself just a little, just to listen closer. They sang together, she with her flute and the moon with its silver light. The stars would twinkle in applause, and even the dawn would delay her arrival, not wanting to interrupt. The villagers listened enraptured. But one night, Pakaki said, the moon did not come. A murmur stirred the crowd. It was sick. They said the stars begged it to rest just once. So he did. But Tifu, unaware, climbed her hill, flute in hand, and waited. But the sky was empty. The fire popped. She waited long into the night, her cloak drawn tight around her shoulders, her breath coiling into the frozen air like smoke from a dying flame. The hill beneath her was silent, save for the occasional rustle of dry grass, and the sky above remained cruelly bare. The moon, her companion, her solace, her secret friend, had not come. Time dragged on, and still the heavens remained empty. Her fingers stiffened and cold. Her lips trembled not from the chill but from a slow sinking sorrow. At last, when her heart could bear it no more, she fell to her knees atop the hill and cried out in anguish. "Faithless friend," she wept, her voice rising like a wail through the trees. "You said you would return. I waited, I believed, but you left me in darkness. If you have a heart, let it ache as mine does now. Let the sky mourn your betrayal. May you never return unless the heavens themselves split open in sorrow." With that bitter curse, she rose, her eyes dry and her soul hollow. Alone, she walked back down the hill, her shadow long behind her, though no light followed her steps. That night, something in the world shifted. Dawn arrived too soon, creeping over the horizon like an unwelcoming guest. The birds, confused and uneasy, forgot their morning songs. They sat in their nest in silence, watching the sun with dull eyes. A hush fell upon the village as though the earth itself held its breath. The villagers stirred restlessly in their homes, sensing that something had changed, though they could not yet name it. When the moon recovered, Pakati said, his voice a hush around the fire that night, "It came back trembling, unsure, but the hill was empty. The girl who had once waited there with hope in her heart was gone." He leaned forward, his weathered face lit with flickering orange. The children leaned closer too, wide-eyed and silent. The stars, ever fond of gossip, whispered to the moon what had happened. They spoke of the princess's fury, of her heartbreak and curse. The moon listened and shuddered inside. It had never meant to wound her, but shame is a powerful thing. It could not bear to face her scorn, nor the sorrow it had caused. He let the silence stretch long and heavy. "And so," Pakati whispered, "the moon turned its back. It fled from the skies above Nandi, and the stars loyal to their quiet king followed. Since that night, not a single shimmer has graced our heavens." A gust of wind rattled the fire's edges. Someone drew their shawl tighter. A child whimpered softly, barely a sound. But before it vanished, Pakaki continued, his eyes glinting with something ancient and knowing. "The moon left us a message, a promise carved in light and shadow. It said, if the people of Nandi ever wish to see me again, they must send me one of their own. Only then shall I rise once more, and the stars with me." A stunned silence fell. One by one, eyes turned to the sky above them, where darkness hung heavy and thick like a woolen shroud. For the first time, the villagers saw not emptiness but loss, a deep aching absence that reached beyond memory. Then, from the edge of the gathering, a voice rang out, rough, steady and strong. "I will go." It was Mr. Tom, the village firewood splitter, a man carved from the very hills he walked. He was known by every child in Nanti, not just for the stories he told while stacking logs, but for the warmth he brought with every bundle of firewood, every chimney that smoked because of his hands. "I have spent my life feeding the flames that keep us warm," he said, stepping into the firelight. "If it is warmth and light the moon wants, let me be the one to give it." Gasp filled the air. The old healer clutched her beards. Mothers pulled their children close. They begged him to reconsider, pleaded for another way. But Mr. Tom only smiled, a quiet, tired smile. "I am an old man. My strength is nearly spent. If my going can bring back the moon, if it means the children of Nandi won't." So it was that Mr. Tom was led to the center of the village. Just as night unfurled its heavy cloak, the sky above Nonti was bare, blank as an unwritten page, dark as a mind closed to wonder. No stars blinked, no moon glowed, only the hush of waiting and the circle of villagers watching with hearts held in silence. At the sacred stone beneath the silent heaven, Mr. Tom knelt. He did not weep, nor did he plead. His eyes held something softer than fear, something like understanding, and when the knife met flesh and his blood spilled onto the thirsty soil of Nonti, the earth shivered, the sky took notice. First, a single star blinked awake, then another, then a sweep of them like glitter spilled across velvet. And slowly, the moon emerged. First a timid crescent, then a bold half, and finally, round and golden and full as a ripened fruit, it rose with grace high above the hills, flooding the land with silver light. But that was not the end. As the moon climbed higher still, the villagers gasped and clutched one another. For there within the glowing face of the moon a shape took form, clear, unmistakable. It was Mr. Tom splitting wood. Over and over again his silhouette moved, steady and calm, the axe lifting and falling with eternal rhythm. His posture was neither weary nor mournful. He looked peaceful, strong, as though he had found his place at last. From that night onward, darkness never again swallowed the sky above Nonti. The stars returned, the moon waxed and waned as it pleased, but never vanished. And whenever someone looked up and saw the quiet figure with the axe framed in moonlight, they would nod with a kind of solemn joy. "There he is," they would whisper, "the man locked in the moon." Children now grow up on stories of Princess Tifu and the moon that once grew sick. The length of old curses and deeper loves, of sacrifice given freely and the magic of return. They danced again beneath the sky, the play flutes on the hillsides, the light lanterns to honor the stars, and always they remember the man who gave them the sky back. And sometimes, only sometimes, when the night is perfectly still and the moon is high, you can hear it, the faint sound of chopping, softly, steady, a lullaby in the sky. The moon, they say, never forget its friend. Please subscribe to watch more of our videos. Thank you.